The mistake we make when we talk about energy. Imagine the physics style, slow, myth-busting, quietly destabilizing. Energy. It's one of those words that feels powerful. We talk about it like it's a substance. You have energy. You lose energy. You transfer energy. The universe is made of energy. It sounds almost mystical, almost spiritual. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Back-end index pointing right energy is not a thing. Back-end index pointing right, it's not a fluid. Back-end index pointing right, it's not stored the way water is stored in a tank. And the way we talk about energy in school, in media, even in physics, quietly misleads us about what it actually is. This mistake is subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. The first lie, energy as a substance. In school, energy is introduced like this. It's the ability to do work, which already sounds vague. Then we're shown examples. A battery stores energy. A moving car has kinetic energy. A stretched spring contains potential energy. The language suggests something is inside the object, like fuel, like a stored liquid. But that mental picture is wrong. Energy is not a substance hiding inside matter. It's not a glowing liquid sloshing around in objects. It doesn't sit somewhere waiting to be released. So what is it? Energy is a number, not a thing. Here's the sentence that changes everything. Energy is a number we assign to a system. That's it. It's a calculation, a bookkeeping tool. It tells us something about the system's configuration, not what it contains. If that sounds underwhelming, good. It should, because we've been trained to think energy is fundamental matter. It isn't. The trick behind stored energy. Take a stretched rubber band. We say it stores energy. But where is that energy located? Is it sitting in the middle? Between atoms? Inside bonds? Not exactly. What's really happening is this. When you stretch the rubber band, you change the positions of atoms. You move the system into a higher energy configuration. That configuration is less stable. If released, it will move toward a lower energy arrangement. The energy isn't stored as a thing. It's a label describing how far the system is from stability. The hidden rule beneath energy. There's a deeper principle hiding here. Energy only matters because it's conserved. If energy weren't conserved, we wouldn't care about tracking it. But here's where things get strange. The conservation of energy isn't just an observed fact. It comes from symmetry. Specifically, if the laws of physics don't change over time, energy is conserved. That's Noether's theorem, one of the most beautiful results in physics. Energy conservation exists because time is uniform, not because energy is a substance that can't disappear. That alone should shift how you think about it. The mistake, treating energy like a physical ingredient. We often say, everything is made of energy. That sounds profound, but it's misleading. Energy is not a building block. It doesn't compose atoms. It doesn't sit underneath particles. It's not the stuff of reality. It's a property of systems. Like temperature, like pressure. You wouldn't say, this room is made of temperature. But people regularly say, the universe is made of energy. That's the mistake. Why this confusion persists. Energy behaves like a substance in equations. It moves between systems. It transforms. It stays constant. So our brains naturally treat it like a fluid. But that's just a convenient mental model. What actually moves are configurations. Particles change motion. Fields change structure. States evolve. Energy is the number that stays balanced while that happens. Kinetic energy isn't in the object. A moving car has kinetic energy. But where is that energy? Inside the engine? Inside the wheels? Inside the atoms? No. Kinetic energy is defined relative to a frame of reference. Change your frame, and the energy changes. If energy were substance, it wouldn't depend on who's watching. But it does. That should tell you something crucial. Energy isn't a physical ingredient. It's relational. Even mass is just energy in disguise. Einstein's famous equation is often misunderstood. People say mass is frozen energy. That makes it sound like energy is a material that can crystallize into mass. But the equation doesn't say that. It says mass contributes to a system's energy. Mass isn't made of energy. Energy is a measure that includes mass as one component. Again, it's bookkeeping, not substance. Why the universe doesn't use energy. We talk about the universe using energy. Stars burn energy. Life consumes energy. Engines run on energy. But nothing uses energy. Stars rearrange particles into more stable nuclear configurations. Life drives chemical reactions towards certain states. Engines convert fuel molecules into lower energy arrangements. Energy isn't being spent. Configurations are changing. Energy just tracks the balance sheet. The deeper question. So here's the question that sets up everything that follows. If energy isn't a substance, if it isn't stored like a fluid, if it's just a conserved number tied to symmetry, then what is actually fundamental? In the next part, we'll go deeper past conservation laws and everyday examples and see why energy might not even be the deepest concept in physics and why treating it like stuff may be blocking us from understanding what reality is really built from. That's where the energy story finally becomes clear. Let's bring this home. You've heard it your whole life. America runs on energy. You need energy to succeed. The universe is made of energy. It's in politics. It's in advertising. It's in science class. It's even in self-help. Energy sounds like the ultimate currency of reality. But here's the quiet truth we've uncovered. Energy isn't a fuel. It isn't a substance. It isn't a glowing cosmic liquid flowing through everything. It's a number, a constraint, a bookkeeping rule that never breaks. And once you see that, something interesting happens. Energy stops being mystical and starts being precise. The word that became too powerful. In the US, energy is practically sacred. We debate it in elections. We measure it in barrels and kilowatts. We blame shortages on it. We celebrate independence because of it. Energy feels like the engine of civilization. And physically, yes, oil burns, electricity flows, food powers your body. But what's actually happening underneath those headlines? No one is moving energy around. We're rearranging matter. Gasoline molecules are breaking into new configurations. Electrons are moving through conductors. Atoms and power plants are reshuffling nuclear states. Energy is just the number that stays consistent while those changes happen. It's the accounting system, not the commodity. Why this matters more than it sounds. If energy were a substance, we'd expect to find it somewhere. Inside atoms? Inside bonds? Sitting between particles? But every time physics looks closer, energy refuses to behave like stuff. It doesn't occupy space. It doesn't have shape. It doesn't exist independently. It's a property of how a system is arranged. Change the arrangement, the energy changes. Change your reference frame, the energy changes. That alone should make you pause. If something depends on perspective, it isn't a physical ingredient. It's relational, the frame trick that breaks intuition. Here's a simple example. You're sitting still in your car at a red light. From your perspective, you have zero kinetic energy. But to someone watching from a helicopter hovering above the city, you're moving with Earth's rotation. And Earth is moving around the sun, and the sun is orbiting the galaxy. Your kinetic energy just changed dramatically without you doing anything. If energy were a substance, it wouldn't change based on who's watching. But it does. That tells us something deep. Energy isn't in objects. It's assigned to systems relative to conditions. Even E equals mc squared doesn't rescue the substance idea. This is where things get subtle. Einstein's equation is often interpreted as Everything is made of energy. That's not what it says. It says mass contributes to energy. Mass is one term in the accounting. When nuclear reactions happen in a star, mass differences show up as energy differences. But nothing transforms into glowing, pure energy stuff. Particles rearrange, fields shift, numbers rebalance. Energy remains conserved because time behaves uniformly. That's the deeper rule. The real star of the show, symmetry. Here's the part that rarely makes it into high school textbooks. Energy is conserved because the laws of physics don't change over time. That's not philosophy, that's mathematics. If tomorrow the laws of physics suddenly shifted, energy wouldn't be conserved. Energy conservation exists because time is symmetrical. That means energy isn't fundamental. Time symmetry is. Energy is what falls out of that symmetry. That flips the hierarchy we're used to. Why we keep talking about energy like it's stuff? Because it works. It's useful. It predicts outcomes. It keeps equations balanced. And our brains love thinking in terms of substances. We're physical creatures. We move things. We store things. We spend things. So we treat energy like money. You earn it. You burn it. You waste it. But the universe isn't running a bank account. It's enforcing consistency. What actually changes in the world? When a power plant generates electricity, what changes? Not energy itself. The arrangement of electrons in a conductor changes. When you eat a burger, what changes? Chemical bonds rearrange in your body. When a rocket launches in Florida, what changes? Fuel molecules convert into exhaust gases in motion. In every case, energy is the number that tracks the before and after. It never flows like water. It labels how states compare. The deep shift. Here's the shift that replaces the old picture. The universe is not powered by energy. It is structured by constraints. Energy is one of those constraints. It tells us which transitions are allowed and which aren't. It doesn't drive change. It restricts it. And that's more powerful than any fuel. Why this makes the universe more elegant. At first, this might feel disappointing. Energy isn't cosmic juice. It's not the raw material of existence. But look closer. A conserved quantity emerging from time symmetry? That's astonishing. It means the stability of the universe is baked into its structure. Not because something is holding it together, but because the rules don't vary. The universe doesn't run on energy. It maintains balance because its laws are consistent across time. That's deeper than fuel. That's architecture. What this changes about how you see reality. The next time you hear, "We need more energy," you'll know what that really means. We need more ways to rearrange matter into useful configurations. The next time someone says, "Everything is energy," you'll recognize the poetic shortcut. Everything participates in energy accounting, but nothing is made of energy as substance. The next time you think about your own energy levels, tired or energized, remember, your body isn't filling up with energy fluid. It's navigating chemical states. The language is convenient. The reality is subtler. The final image. So here's the image to leave you with. Not glowing particles. Not streams of energy flowing through space. Imagine a giant ledger. Every time the universe changes configuration, the numbers must balance. They always do. Not because energy is protecting itself, but because time doesn't play favorites. The laws are steady, so the accounting is steady. Energy isn't what the universe is made of. It's how the universe keeps score. And once you see that, the world doesn't lose power. It gains precision. Because the real magic isn't a cosmic fuel tank. It's a rule that has never failed. From the Big Bang, to your kitchen light switch, to the phone in your hand. Not energy as stuff. Energy as consistency. And that consistency is what makes the entire story hold together.